These latest headlines from ABC15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.
I'm Faye Fredericks with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. A first in the nation and a first here in Arizona. The Arizona Department of Health Services announcing Eugene LeVar as the nation's first ever chief heat officer. Position was created by Governor Hobbs for her extreme heat preparedness plan. As the chief, Dr. LeVar will oversee that plan. We spoke to him one-on-one. Hear what he has to say about the new position tonight. The stage is all but set. Joe Biden and Donald Trump both cruising to victory on Super Tuesday. But there is one trend that came out of last night that's concerning for Democrats, the uncommitted voter. In the Democratic primary in Minnesota, about 19% of voters choosing uncommitted, while in North Carolina, nearly 13% voted no preference.
I don't begrudge people on the left for using the primary process to make their voice heard. That's the whole point. They are using the system that has been presented to them, and they should do that. And the Biden folks have to find a reason to get those people to vote for them.
As for former President Trump, he needs to earn the votes of Nikki Haley's supporters. A challenge for both candidates could be voter enthusiasm and making sure their voters show up. The Supreme Court has set a date. They'll hear oral arguments on April 25th on whether former President Trump is immune from criminal charges in his federal election interference case. Could take months for the justices to issue an opinion. If they rule that the election case can go forward, Trump would likely be on trial shortly before the November presidential election. Boeing has reportedly failed to turn over important records in the investigation into the door plug blowout on an Alaska Airlines flight earlier this year. NTSB investigators believe Boeing employees removed critical bolts that hold the plug in place, but did not reinstall the bolts. Today, the NTSB chair told the Senate Commerce Committee that because of Boeing's actions, they don't know who on Boeing's assembly line removed and reinstalled the door.
Boeing has not provided us with the documents and information that we have requested numerous times over the past few months, specifically with respect to opening, closing, and removal of the door and the team that does that work at the Renton facility. There is one team that deals with the doors of 25 people. Why we don't have those names today, 2 months later, is really disappointing.
Chair going on to say Boeing told the NTSB it cannot find documentation about the removal and reinstallation of the door plug, and that's why it wasn't presented. For the past decade, Americans have had access to flu shots protecting against 4 strains of the virus. But a panel of experts advising the FDA has voted to recommend that next season's flu shots have a different formula. The next vaccines will offer protection for just 3 strains, as one of the B strains hasn't been detected in testing since March of 2020. It's believed the precautions people took to avoid COVID finished it off.
And approval of all the necessary regulatory submissions is on track for a 2024-25 PIV implementation for all licensed U.S. influenza vaccine manufacturers.
The vaccine should be available just in time for next year's flu season. The Oscars now just days away, and the producers promise you won't want to miss Sunday's show.
We're lucky enough to be producing it this year, and we can't wait for everyone to see what we've got in store.
The executive producers say their goal is to make you feel like you're part of Hollywood right from the comfort of your own living room. Big focus this year will be on the music, bringing the orchestra out of the pit and onto the stage.
From walk-ons to musical performances to what will happen in memoriam, music will play a very key role in the night. And I think seeing all those really talented live musicians on the stage, that entire audience in the room is going to feel it, and everybody at home will as well.
See what else is in store for the 96th Academy Awards this Sunday at 4 right here on ABC 15.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Amber Sellens. Tracking the next storm coming in. This is going to be bringing rain and snow to parts of Arizona tomorrow and dropping temperatures by nearly 10 degrees. As we look at that forecast, scattered showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms for the valley, anywhere from a trace to 0.2 of an inch of rain here. And for the high country, a snow level near 6,000 feet and 1 to 2 inches of snow in the Flagstaff area tomorrow. Here's Futurecast bringing that rain into the valley around 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning and keeping at least least a slight chance for a few more showers and isolated thunderstorms through the afternoon forecast as well. We'll start the day in the 50s, end up in the low 60s by lunchtime, mid to upper 60s around 4 p.m., and then back down into the low 60s around 9 o'clock tomorrow night. A cooler day overall, but high pressure will return as we head into the weekend, working to warm things back up again. For Phoenix, we're back in the 80s on Sunday and staying there next week.